Welcome back to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you. We're discussing relationships and why do modern women feel entitled to the top tier men. Kevin Samuels tackles this topic. Let's go ahead and see what he had to say on it as he interviews this young lady.
Good. What do you got for me?
So listen, this is my first time coming on. This is my third time viewing you, and I really want to come on and hang with you because you remind me so much of my brothers. I'm the youngest of 7 boys.
Okay.
And you give us, the raw shit. So I was like, oh, I got to talk to you.
Okay, so what do you got for me on the topic?
So on the topic, I am trying to. I'm trying to get some advice, some big brother advice. Okay, Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin said okay.
But you gotta get to it though. This is daily.
I know. So I am single mom of 4.
Okay. Of how many? 4?
Yeah, 4.
Okay.
I am seasoned a little bit, but I'm not discouraged. Okay.
What's the question, woman?
I'm sorry.
What's the question?
So I'm trying to figure out what I need to be focusing on and looking for in relationships.
I don't know. What outcome do you want?
I want happiness.
You want to be married?
Absolutely. I've never been
Okay,
married.
hold on. Let's just answer these questions. You're a mother of 4 and how many different fathers?
4.
Holy shit. How many times have you been married?
None.
That ain't gonna work.
I've been proposed to 3 times.
That ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, never accepted.
No. What I'm saying is not gonna work. There's no marriage to a woman who has 4 kids by 4 different men who's never been married. What guy wants to follow that?
So your answer is I'm done.
As far as marriage, in all likelihood, yeah. I mean, how old are you?
44.
44. First off, man, let's take you out of it. Let's say you have a brother, right?
Right. 7 of them.
And your brother comes up and says, Hey, sis, I'm gonna marry this woman with 4 kids by 4 different men. She ain't never been married. What you gonna tell her? Yeah, man, lock that deal down.
Are you asking? Can I respond?
Yeah, what you gonna tell him? You gonna tell him to lock?
So, well,
What are you gonna tell him?
of course I'm gonna have my own personal experience in it. So of course I'm gonna tell him, okay, yeah, absolutely.
You gonna tell him absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you love your brother so much you would tell him to marry a woman with 4 kids by 4 different men and he never been married to either one of them. That ain't love, ma'am. That ain't love.
I mean, there's a history. I mean, it depends on the history.
That ain't love. That ain't okay, ma'am. Listen, this is where you women go wrong because you're too into it. Do you have any sons?
I do 2 sons.
So 2 of your 2 sons come back and both of them say, "Hey, mom, I found a woman with 4 kids from 4 different men. I'm gonna marry her." You gonna say, "Go ahead, son. Let's go ahead and plan that up."
Probably not.
Exactly.
To be honest, probably not.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly, because the men you're talking about are somebody's son. I mean, here's the thing: if you didn't need to be married to have babies, you don't need to be married. You don't need to be married now.
All right, I have to interject. Why is it that she would say to her brothers he should go ahead and do that? Because she's supposed to care about her brothers, but she wouldn't tell her own sons to go ahead and do that. It's the same exact scenario. If you wouldn't want your sons to be in a scenario where they marry a woman with 4 kids by 4 different dudes, why would you want that for your brothers? That's crazy to me, right? Shouldn't it be across the board? Shouldn't it be a bad option for both across the board? This says something about how this lady thinks, right? As a value proposition for her son, it doesn't make sense for her to advocate for him to marry a woman like her. But as a value proposition for her brothers, she would advocate him marrying a woman like her with 4 different baby daddies and never been married. Fellas, you got to pay attention to that. Sometimes it's your own family that don't want the best for you. You know what I'm saying? For her kid, she wouldn't advise that. But for her own brother, she would. It's crazy.
That's really how men think about it.
Okay, so take marriage out of it, then, Kevin. So I mean, because at the end of the day, I'm not one of those people that like, oh, this, that, and third. I got my own bag. I'm an accountant. All right. I want someone that I can be, because no one deserves to die alone.
Well,
Nobody deserves to
I
die
get
alone.
I get it, ma'am. I get it. Well, how old is your youngest child?
My youngest is 11. He'll be 12.
All right, ma'am, but still, you got to understand that you're deciding to come to these things at beyond middle age.
They gotta throw me on the bus with the boys.
You are, unless you're going to live to be 100, you are beyond middle age.
Okay, so it's done for me. I should just go and
You
die.
need to. Okay. You want me to tell you what you want to hear, or you want me to
No.
tell you what I think? Well, then listen. You came to these decisions to where now it seems to now be a priority, because at 44 with 4 kids, you were just out here doing what you wanted to do. You said you got a bag, okay, but now you don't want to die alone. All right, but then here's the thing. I hear you, but there's a man out there who's going to have to attach himself to you, and what is he going to get?
Is it?
Yes.
So when he attaches himself to me, he's going to get an awesome individual. He's going to get a down-to-earth individual, someone that has a grasp on life and what they want. Okay, someone that can provide, someone that knows how to cook, someone that knows how to take care of the household. That's what he's going to get. Somebody's going to.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you some other questions. Okay.
Okay.
How tall are you?
I'm
Dress size.
very slack, you can. I didn't gain any weight in quarantine. So I'm probably like a 14 now. So I'm 5'9", 230.
All right. 5'9", 230 pounds.
230.
4 kids. Listen. 5'9", 44 years old. 5'9", 230 pounds, size 14, with 4 children by 4 different men. And everything that you said you were going to provide for a man is you're going to get an awesome individual who has a grasp of something or other, who knows how to clean a house and knows how to cook. Ma'am, he can get that in a 25 or 30-year-old with no children and a dress size 6.
So
Listen, what you ladies, this is what I'm listen. Do you understand what I just said? What you're bringing to the table. Okay, you're an accountant, right?
I just want you to give me advice on me. I don't
Okay. Well, I understand. I give it. Listen. I give general advice on this show because if you need specific advice, use up some of that bag and book a session. I don't just give free specialized advice out. Give this at first.
That's what I need to do.
So here's the thing. Yeah, but in general, man, I'm speaking to you in some terms that accountants can understand. Assets and liabilities. Your assets need to outweigh your liabilities for someone to want to take that deal. And the things I've asked you about assets were very vague, but your liabilities are very real.
Absolutely.
All right. Hopefully that helped.
That's it.
This is crazy. She has 4 kids by 4 different men. She's overweight at age 44 and wants a high value man. Pause and think about it for a second. This is a high level delusion. And she's acting as though, yeah, I deserve this. But when Kevin asks her, if you have a friend and you ask them about, they come to you and say, hey, I have someone, a woman who's 4 kids by 4 different men, never been married, and she's 44. Would you tell me if that's okay? And she's like, yeah, of course, absolutely. Are you kidding me? But when it turns to her sons that she has, because she has 2 sons and 2 girls, and when it turns to her sons and he asks her the same question, she's like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. But in other words, what she's saying is she has no problem doing this to a stranger. When it comes down to her family, It's no, 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 no. Guys, this is why Kevin Samuels always says, be careful of these women because truly they do not care about you.
Okay. Shout out to my man on his analysis. That was relationship insights for men. That's the channel. Definitely support that. But to your point, you see exactly what the man was saying. The same things that stood out to him in his analysis is the same thing that stood out to me. This woman, in terms of a value proposition, is not even seeing herself. So here's how men look at things. Men look at things in a very simplistic way. Are you offering me your best? Right? If you come to a man who apparently is a high production man, he's a man who's productive, who's done a lot of things. He represents a very small percentage of men who are successful, which means that he's put himself in a certain category in terms of wealth and things of that nature. And women tend to want men who are a bit more affluent and have more resources, access to resources. So that just means he's got more women to choose from, more options. He can choose from the younger women with no baggage. He could choose from the middle-aged women with some baggage, the middle-aged women with no baggage, or the middle-aged women with out baggage. Okay? And he can choose from older women. Now, the older women, their value proposition drops. They have children. A lot of times the men are not able to come and correct those children and actually be fathers to those children. They're just expected to provide and support them. So that becomes an obstacle for that man. The second obstacle becomes the fact that the woman's an older woman. It's less likely that that man will get a child from that relationship because of geriatric pregnancy. It's going to be harder that those kids will be born without some sort of deformity of some sort. Okay? And then fourth, the woman may have had traumas. There's other men in the picture, especially if she have children from other men. So now there's obstacles to him being able to lead his household the way he wants to. Contrast that with a woman who's younger, no boyfriend, no relationship, no men, no children, and no trauma, and the ability to actually have children. From a man who is very driven, who wants an easy life, peaceful life that is stress-free and that is productive for him, most men, not all, most will gravitate towards the easier situation. The younger woman with less baggage and no children and no headaches and trauma and things to overcome, right? But in this lady's estimation, she feels that despite the fact that she's had 4 children for 4 different men, that somehow that should be overlooked. Despite the fact that she's in her mid-40s and probably not likely to give him any children, and despite the fact that she has not kept her body physically fit, that somehow she can still be as appealing to men. This is an unrealistic expectation. It's almost somewhat delusional. Now, it is not to say that men don't choose women that don't fit these scripts, but you have to be a pretty awesome individual to win a man over like that, right? And although it happens from time to time, it rarely happens, okay? The majority of the time, it tends to not be the case. Most older men who are affluent and set financially tend to take younger mates. I mean, it's just the facts, right? And the reasons why is because a more fit, less baggage, the ability to have children should they want that, and they can mold and build that relationship with that young lady a little easier than with an older person because they're more rigid, more stuck in their ways, and less malleable and less compromising. So those are obstacles. Now, explaining this concept to this young lady is something she refuses to accept. She said she had older brothers. Those older brothers, I'm sure, probably told her exactly what Kevin was telling her. I think she bypassed what they were saying to see if Kevin would say something different. But his message never changes because it's rooted in the truth. The truth is most men are not going to go for that, right? One, what does your weight say? It says that you're disciplined enough to treat yourself with care, to preserve and prolong your own life. So it's not about the weight being out of whack, it's about your behaviors. It's about your attitude towards your health and your well-being. It's about your discipline. Are you eating good? Are you maintaining a healthy lifestyle? And is this what the man should expect? Men judge judgment. They judge how you think and how you've made decisions in the past. And they use that as a precursor to how you will make decisions in the future. So if a man sees that you've made a lot of decisions that are not good decisions, then he's likely to consider you as a poor choice because you tend to make the same poor decisions, like the decision of having children for men you don't intend to stay with. That's not a wise decision. That's a poor decision. And the fact that she's done that not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times without requiring marriage from any of the men she did that with tells you that she's not a woman who's sound in her thinking in terms of how she goes about making decisions. And then you have all these other obstacles. There's 4 men that new man will have to contend with, because those 4 children have their own fathers who's got their own opinions about how their kids should be raised. And if you have to raise those children under your household where there's 4 different men weighing in on what they want their child to do or not do, and how that can potentially conflict with what the new man wants, there's a possibility for conflict between each of those men. And this woman is now in the middle of it, and this guy now has to essentially stand in a gap for this woman's poor choices. Most men are not going to do that. They're not. And then on top of it, she's not exactly the most fit person, which means now at some point along the way, her health will continue to deteriorate. She's probably going to add more weight, and he may not be attracted to her a year or 2 from now sexually, but yet he's tied to all the responsibility. And now she's tied his hands with, a marriage or something of that sort. It's not a good value proposition for a man. So Kevin would most likely say, this is a bad deal. Men in this situation should run the opposite direction. It's not to say that you won't find a man who's willing to date you, hook up with you, hang out with you, but in terms of a forever, happily ever after, it's very unlikely that a man would sign up for that unless you're the most amazing woman. And there are some. It's not a common practice, but there are some men who overlook all the baggage a woman has because there's so much value in them that they take the risk. But for those who do, make sure you make a calculated risk and you understand what your exit strategies are. That's things like prenups. That's things like, okay, how do I undo this? Should it not go the way I think it will? That's what Kevin's advising. And inherently, that woman knows that too, because she wouldn't want that situation for her own son. Yet she wants men listening to this to sign up for that. That's a dub. It's a dub. Very unlikely to happen. But you see the thinking. So men, be aware. Be sure you ask certain questions. And this is one of the things he said. I'm just scratching the surface with some of the questions that I'm asking you. Most men with their stuff together and who knows where they want to be and what they want to accomplish have a lot more questions, because you have to fit the script of what they envision their life to be. Are you going to add value, or are you going to deplete? Are you going to subtract? Are you going to be a liability to them? A man needs to understand that. And most men who are on that level are calculated enough to get those answers before they commit. And the reasons why she hasn't found anyone to commit as of yet is because they already know it's not a good value proposition. There isn't a way you can slap something on there to make it look differently. It's just not a good value proposition. Now, that being said, that's my thoughts, but I welcome yours. Feel free to share your thoughts. If you're not if you're not a subscribed member, like and subscribe, stay connected to the show, but also weigh in. Give me your thoughts. Am I wrong? Do I have it right? Is there another perspective that's not being considered? Share your thoughts. We welcome your views. Thank you again for joining us. And until we speak again, God bless.